Hello, my name is R.HEDRICK. I'm with USA Hockey, and I'm really excited to introduce some important aspects of our partnership with the Iraqi Hockey Federation. All right, so the basis of our partnership and the things we need to understand when entering it. Obviously, with USA Hockey, we want to partner with the Iraqi Hockey Federation to expand the sport in Iraq and across the world. The Iraqi Hockey Federation, over the past couple of years, has been able to expand from their starting point in Baghdad. They've been able to grow the sport, and they are looking to move into Mosul, Iraq. We are going to be helping them with this mission, and we are going to be aiming to build strong working relationships, good partnerships, good understanding of who we're working with, and we're going to be able to take that and help them expand the sport, maybe move it out of Mosul and build their own strong network. Maybe even, help expand the game outside of Iraq and into different places we never thought it'd reach as we look to help the game grow and grow and grow, right? We've seen it grow a lot here in the United States and in North America alone. But if we can expand the game across the world, if we can, make it even bigger, that'd be an excellent opportunity and something that I'm sure we'd all like to accomplish. Yeah. So our goals. We want to have cultural competence, understand those we're working with as they come from different backgrounds from us. They're going to have different expectations, different norms from us, and we need to, have a wide range of skills to be able to work with people with, varying levels of everything that we're going to be coming across. This is going to be a really exciting opportunity. I think that this is just the start of it. So we want to also build our empathy, our compassion, our ability to work with others, be understanding, be mindful of differences. And what we're going to come away with is a really, really strong basis for a partnership. So, some key values that we're going to have to kind of learn and be mindful of. First up, hospitality. Hosting is a really, really honorable opportunity. It's something that people are very, very excited to do. It's going to be, I'm sure we're going to be hosted by our Iraqi colleagues, and it's important that we know how to respond in these situations and what being a good guest looks like, or what being a good host looks like if we host our colleagues. So, this isn't going to be taken lightly. It's going to be a very big honor, especially to have people from across the world coming into your home and being presented with all sorts of gestures, right? So a host is going to offer you food and drink. It's important that you accept these things. You don't necessarily have to, drink what you're given, eat what you're given, but it's important that you accept, be willing to accept the generosity of your host. As a guest, you may want to bring gifts or different things like that. It can always be something really small, like fruit, chocolate, those kinds of things. Just something small. It's just kind of an offering of, I appreciate your hospitality and the fact that you are hosting. Obviously, if you receive a gift, don't open that gift in front of everyone. It's not meant to be an audience viewing opportunity. It's just meant to be an exchange between host and guest. This isn't, a show to be put on. Family and community. Family identity, greater family, elders, all very important aspects of Iraqi culture. We need to show respect to our colleagues, show respect to their elders, their extended family. You're absolutely allowed to be curious. You can ask conversations, how have you been? How's your family been? How's so-and-so doing? You can do those things, but maybe not everybody wants to be very open about their family. So if somebody avoids the topic, that's fine. Drop it and move on. There's no reason to pry, right? Don't make anyone uncomfortable with that. Yeah. Always show respect for elders. That's important, and I think something that's pretty much a standard, and we should have a very good understanding of, no matter where we're from. Religion. I'm sure you've heard the misconception that the Middle East and Iraq are all about religion. You've probably heard it's a powder keg and all these other things, right? So it's important to note that the Middle East and Iraq are very ethnically, religiously, culturally diverse places. Mosul, Iraq is split between Shia Muslims, Sunni Muslims, and Christians. It's going to be majority between the two groups of Muslims, but there is still a lot of diversity within that. And it's not all about religion, and our people that we work with aren't going to be simply reduced down to religion. That's one aspect of who they are, and not an indicator of who they are as a whole. So, Islam will play a major role in the culture of those individuals we work with, and it's important to be respectful of that. So, just in daily life, you may see prayer times or different things like that. Be respectful and allow others to practice their faith, as they will allow us to practice ours if you choose to practice in any sort of way. In our culture, obviously, Saturday, Sunday is our weekend. In Christianity, Sunday is the holy day. In Muslim tradition, Friday, Saturday is the weekend, and Friday is the holy day. So maybe you had a plan with a colleague to complete some work on Friday. It may not end up working out how you thought it would, because of the scheduling conflict or the practices of others in their faith, and we want to be mindful of those things and not try to overstep or interact. If prayer, whether it's from Friday or just any prayer time, if that interrupts your meeting, like I said, just be respectful, be patient, be understanding. Communication. So some greetings. We'll learn a little bit of Arabic, and I think that we should all be open to learning more as time goes. So marhaban doesn't directly translate to hello, but it works as like a greeting. So it's, if you're passing somebody and say, hey, hello, hi, whatever, marhaban works in that same kind of sense. Marhaban bik is the proper response to this. So it doesn't necessarily mean hello to you too or anything like that, but it is the formal traditional reply to marhaban or other greetings. Men shake hands with men. Women can shake hands with men, but the woman should always initiate. So if we have women in our group, you can initiate the handshake to an Iraqi man, or if an Iraqi woman, tries to initiate a handshake with you, you can always shake her hand. If somebody doesn't shake your hand, if you are a woman and you put out your hand to shake hands with someone and they don't shake your hand, don't take any offense to that. That's not it's not an offensive way of doing things, right? If somebody doesn't shake your hand, you can always hand on the heart, you can nod to them. These are kind of normal. In the same way that you nod to somebody to greet them in our culture, you can do that in Iraqi culture as well. Right hand over heart, like I said, right hand to shake hands. It's important to differentiate right hand from left hand. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but when receiving gifts, receiving food, receiving drink, always receive with the right hand, never the left. It can be right and left as both hands, but right hand, never just the left. And just be polite. Be curious. You can always, do different conversation starters. Hey, how are you doing? How's your day been? How about this weather? Whatever. You can do any sort of normal traditional greeting. These are standard and proper ways to do things, both in American tradition and Iraqi tradition. Verbal communication barriers we may face. So obviously it's important to note that our colleagues are bringing a skill that we're not. We're not learning Arabic. They have the skill to speak English, or some of them have translators, different things like that. We aren't bringing a skill to the table, and we need to be very understanding and grateful for the fact that our colleagues are. This partnership would not function in the same manner if our colleagues didn't bring English to the table. So with that, no matter how well our colleagues speak English, you may not want to bring out humor and sarcasm and these sorts of things right off the bat, just because you don't know how they'll react to it or how well they understand it. Obviously sarcasm functions as essentially saying what you don't mean to mean what you do. And trying to do that to somebody who may not understand English or speak clear English as we native English speakers do, you don't want to start your partnership off in that way. If you grow to find that your colleague speaks great English, then, obviously you can factor in humor. If they show humor, you can reflect that, right? There's no reason to shy away from it if you can tell others are comfortable with it, but don't bring it out right out of the gates. But just try to avoid tones that could create misunderstandings. Our Iraqi individuals are more than likely going to be using very polite and formal language, just because that's how they've learned English. Most of the time, if somebody's taught English, they're not going to be taught to speak in disrespectful slang. So they're going to be bringing proper, polite, respectful, professional English to the table, and we need to reflect that. You don't want to speak in a way they don't understand. You don't want to be less formal and seen as lazy, or just not polite, right? And like I said, just show appreciation for the fact that they're bringing a skill that we're not. Nonverbal communication. Like I said, right hand for greetings, right hand for gifts, right hand for accepting foods and for eating and accepting anything, right? Right hand is polite, left hand is not exactly polite. Remove shoes when entering someone's home, dining spaces, living spaces. It's just seen as clean. It's not that crazy. It's not that foreign for us. That should be standard for a lot of people. Don't take photos in public. Don't take photos of people. Don't take photos of women. Don't take photos of people without their consent. If somebody tells you you can take a picture of them, obviously that's different. If you see a site, obviously we're going to be, at some point in this project, we're going to be across the world in a place most of us have never been. Some of us may never go again. So if you want to take a picture, you want to say, oh, hey, I want to send this to my family. I want to send this to my friends. That's okay. Just make sure you're not taking a picture of people who don't know you're taking a picture of them. Or if you see a site, maybe wait for somebody to clear out of the way before you take a picture of that. Just normal, obvious, reasonable behavior. Don't put your feet up on things. You don't want to have the bottom of your feet facing people. That's seen as disrespectful as well. Gender. So gender is kind of a contentious topic in the US. It's not even a contentious topic in Iraq. It's just simple, standard. There are very strong separations between the expectations and the norms of men and women. We're not here to break that up. We're just here to work with our colleagues, and we are going to be willing to accept their norms, because that is a really important part of this partnership. And I would assume that for the most part, they're going to be accepting our norms and not questioning us. But we're not here to try and to change things and flip the world on its head, right? So, like I said, male-female interactions, let the female initiate. And if she doesn't, there's no interaction to be had. Male and female interactions aren't that common, and when you do see them, they're very formal and very quick, really. It's not going to be, if you're walking down the street, you'll likely see a couple holding hands. You may see someone having a loud conversation. You're not going to see that between our Iraqi colleagues. You're not going to, you're definitely not going to be seeing a lot of like PDA or things like that. So just be mindful and don't bring your own behavior that would differentiate from the norm. Gender and sexuality, like I said, contentious topic, something to be debated on, but the standard levels of what we expect to be accepted with gender and sexuality, those are seen as taboo and not accepted in Iraq. So we're not, once again, not here to combat that. We're here for hockey, and I think that it's important to be mindful of those things, but don't step on anyone's toes, and don't try to upset others by saying that you disagree with their beliefs. You may see women wearing hijabs and abayas. That's just normal. You're not gonna, question that, because it's just what we're gonna see people wearing. Like I said, be understanding of cultural differences. Time and scheduling. So, kind of a funny stereotype is that our Iraqi colleagues, that Iraqi people in general, are unreliable. They're not good at being on time. I asked my colleague Abraham about this, and he said, if you have a friend who says he'll call you at 5, he's calling you at 5:30. And we talked about that more and more, and kind of what we got to is that Iraqi people, like you and I, when a situation is informal, I might say, hey, I'll pick you up around 5. Who knows what time I'll be there, 5, 5:30, 5:15, something like that. But if it's a formal situation, I have to be at work at 6. I'm going to be there at 5:45 at the latest, right? It's important to understand that a lot of these stereotypes we're going to come across aren't exactly true, and they don't tell the whole story. If something's informal, then it's informal. You're not going to really hold it to the same standard as you would if it's something important and crucial to be at, right? So our colleagues are going to be bringing extreme professionalism, as we have an opportunity between both of us. They're going to be working with Americans, not an opportunity they get to have often. We're going to be working with our Iraqi colleagues, not an opportunity we get to have often. So it's important that we bring a lot of respect, understanding, excitement, and professionalism to this partnership. And then for our virtual meetings, be mindful of like I said, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing, like our weekend differences. Be mindful of the time differences. Central Standard Time is, I believe, 9 hours behind that of Mosul, Iraq. So, for example, I have in my phone, I have the world clock set up so that I can just quickly go check Mosul's time. Last thing I want to do is be blowing up someone's phone while they're trying to sleep. Don't plan a meeting for 5 o'clock for us, because that's going to be the middle of the night. That's like 3 in the morning, 2 or 3 in the morning for our colleagues. Be mindful of these things. Don't make plans that won't work for the people we're working with. Work expectations. So this is a big opportunity. It's something we're really excited for. So we're going to have a high standard of effort, quality, interest. Last thing you want to do is be lazy, lackadaisical, and not show any excitement for this project and kind of kill it for our partners. We're going to bring a lot of quality to this, and as will our colleagues. So what they show, we need to reflect. Lack of effort, it's going to be very disrespectful. I would advise that maybe you aren't a part of this team if you're not interested in the mission we're looking to achieve, because the last thing we want to do is kill it for our colleagues, as they're presenting a really exciting opportunity to us. Unreliable internet connection. With the, there are going to be differences in how we expect to get work done between our weekend days, our time differences, prayer times, internet connection. Internet and electricity, often unreliable. I've been on multiple calls with my colleague Abraham, and I've seen the power just go out in the room he's in. Usually he laughs it off because I think he's very used to it. But it's important that, you're understanding, you're patient, and you don't, oh my gosh, this guy can't even stay on the call. Well, it's usually not going to be their fault. It's a lot of outside circumstances that are impacting that, right? So be patient, be understanding. So these are some scenarios we may encounter, some things we need to be mindful of. If you don't understand something, be sure to ask for clarification. If our colleagues don't understand something you're saying in English, they may ask you questions, and like my friend Abraham and I, we've gone back and forth on, you said this, well, I meant this, and trying to figure out the real message behind what we said. That's okay. Or if you misspeak, just clarify what you said. It's not a big deal. Group members who remain silent, that's not disrespect, right? We're taught to be active listeners, always nodding along, always making great eye contact, shaking our head when we disagree or we're prompted to do so, speaking out when, we're kind of prompted to do so, raising our hand, asking questions, these kinds of things. These are our normal standards for being active listeners. That isn't a global idea. So a lot of our colleagues, they may just be silent, and that may come across as disrespect for you. But that's just how our colleagues are listening. That's how they are agreeing and understanding our information. We are going to encourage them to speak out when needed, obviously, because we want to have this as an open dialogue, an open discussion. But just because somebody isn't following the norms that we're used to doesn't mean that they're being disrespectful. If you misspeak or break etiquette, if you say something you don't mean, just apologize, move on, clarify. No reason to dwell on it. If your colleague avoids a topic, just drop it. Like I said before, if somebody's not that open about discussing their family, that's okay. Not everybody is an open book. Be mindful of that and be understanding. And if somebody doesn't want to talk about something, don't ask. Don't pry. Language barriers, like I said, I'm a native English speaker. I've been speaking English my entire life. Our colleagues haven't been. My friend Abraham, for example, he's been speaking English for about 5 years. He speaks great English, but there are still some words he doesn't understand, little questions we have, mispronunciations that, start little issues, or, just clarification is always acceptable. Just be patient, be understanding. Topics to avoid. I think within this, the first one I want to note is it's important to understand the ties between the US and Iraq. There is an intertwined history and a lot of things that aren't that pretty. I think that here in the US, I'm sure that you've heard the blanket statements, the generalizations that all the Middle East is terrorism and it's all about religion and everybody's dangerous. And that's completely idiotic and something that we are absolutely not going to tolerate as being a belief within this project. So, with that, we need to be mindful of our past. We need to be mindful of the ideas that have been shared between people within our culture and within their culture. So I think it's important to note that our U.S. occupation of Iraq in 2003 was traumatic for many people, and more than likely people that are going to be in our partnership. The wars that we've had have taken lives, destroyed cities, and completely changed the lives of some of the people we're going to be working with. And in a lot of ways, the U.S. was responsible for the spawning of ISIS. We didn't create ISIS, but in many ways, their creation was due to the actions of the U.S. Obviously, I wasn't making decisions politically then. I didn't choose to do any of this stuff, and I'm sure you didn't either. And our colleagues weren't a part of the governmental system in Iraq or any system that spawned these issues. But it's still important to note that these topics brought trauma, and we don't want to be insincere or inconsiderate and ignore the trauma, the truths, the stories of those we're working with. So be mindful of these things. For example, I spoke with my colleague Abraham about this, and he said, he's never once. I asked him if this changed how he viewed the U.S. And he said that he's never once blamed the people of America. He's never blamed the American public. He certainly wasn't happy with the Bush administration. His family taught him not to be happy with the Bush administration. And there's several different political figures that he isn't quite fond of. But there's a difference between political figures who are making decisions that you and I can't, and what you and I say and believe in. So we're not going to bring up these tragic topics, and we're not going to try to give our stance or apologize for them. Like I said, not my actions and not yours. We can be respectful about them, but we don't need to dwell on them or anything like that. Religion and politics. We're not going to question the politics of current or past Iraqi figures, and we're not going to question the religious beliefs of our colleagues or the traditions that they may have that differ from ours. We're here to have our beliefs, and we can share them, but we're not trying to push them. If somebody says, "Oh, are you Christian?" Because I know Christianity is very common in the U.S. In a similar way to how Muslim is or Islamic tradition is very common in Iraq, right? That you can say that, or if it even comes up, you can say, a little bit more about yourself, but you're certainly not going to be overbearing and trying to push your beliefs. Don't assume that all the people we're working with are going to be the same. These are individuals and a part of the whole. We're not speaking to all of Iraq, we're speaking to a group. I have a handful of colleagues and one real good friend from Iraq, but that doesn't mean that I'm an expert and you won't be either, but we're looking to learn. And then when in doubt, ask questions and also kind of tread lightly. Don't just spew out there all your beliefs and things if you don't know how somebody's going to react to it. Just be mindful of what you're saying. So, the basis for our partnership, or the beginning of our partnership. This is a huge opportunity and something that we're really, really excited for, and we need to share our excitement and we need to show it because we want to make sure that our partners know that we aren't taking this opportunity lightly and that we're actually really, really excited to be working with them and partnering them and getting to know them and getting to build this opportunity, right? We're bringing positivity to our meetings. We're building quality. We're building, we're bringing respect and all these other things. And we're going to be respectful. We're going to be curious, and we're going to be open-minded, and we're going to come away with a very, very strong understanding of what we need to be successful in this partnership. I look forward to moving into this partnership building a strong basis and expanding a sport that we all really love and enjoy, not just in the U.S. but in Iraq and hopefully in Mosul and many places to come.